Hey all you imps, welcome back to another reaction video. We're back with TheFatFiles, and this is Stupid and Evil Business Model. Buy now, pay later. I have never used this model, to my knowledge, and I think I've seen a video before talking about something like that, and yeah, it's dumb. So let's get started, shall we? 3, 2, 1, go!
I've done it. I've accidentally stumbled upon the dumbest business model on the planet. Today we're talking about buy now, pay later.
Oh my gosh, I just remembered. Okay. I almost forgot about this because someone commented on the Devil Duck video, I believe, and they were talking about like where the Quackbang came from, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'll look that up whenever I record again. So yeah, we're watching this before we'll start back up from the other thing. This is a bonus. Let's get through this, okay? All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I have received a shit ton of comments just like this about the rubber duck. So let's talk about it. And if you don't know what we're talking about, in my 11 Bravos video, I explained how I knew an NCO once that was an infantryman, and before he would breach a room, instead of throwing in a flashbang grenade, he would throw in a rubber duck. A duck bang grenade, if you will. Wait, no, a quackbang grenade. That's better. While a quackbang grenade is fucking hilarious on its face, there's more to it than that. That infantryman went on to...
I would assume that, like, because, like, imagine, like, you're expecting, like, a flashbang. So, like, you first hear that thud. If you hear, like a squeak or whatever at first, then you're gonna then the dude's gonna be confused and be like, what the fuck? And then he's gonna probably look, and then you throw in the flashbang right after, and then he gets blinded.
Explain to me that
like they lower their guard and stuff, you know?
He thinks a quackbang grenade is more effective than a flashbang grenade because of this guy right here. That's John Boyd. John Boyd was a fighter jet pilot during the Korean War, later on went on to become a famous military strategist. Now, when he was a fighter jet pilot, he had the nickname 42nd Boyd because when he was in a dogfight, he could outmaneuver the other pilot in 40 seconds or less, even if he started from a point of disadvantage, and he did this almost...
42nd Boyd. I was thinking like 42nd, like 4-2.
100% of the time. The way he was able to do that with such great success was by using what he liked to call an OODA loop. An OODA loop is basically the decision-making process that every human being goes through for
his phone, not mine.
decision they make on a daily basis. So the basic breakdown is you observe a situation, you then orient yourself within that situation, you decide what you're going to do about it, and then you do it. So when we apply this to getting your door breached, if you are the bad guy, you observe a bunch of grunts pulling up to your fucking house, stacking on your door. You orient yourself as the guy that's about to get his fucking ass whooped. You decide that you're going to grab your Soviet-era AK-47 and stack up on the other side of that door by pointing your gun at it. And then the only thing you have to do is wait to pull that trigger, which is the act. But when fucking Grunty McGruntface throws a fucking quackbang grenade through your living room, you weren't expecting that. So you have to re-observe what the fuck just happened. Was that a rubber duck?
You have to restart the loop.
Reorient what the fuck is going on, why are the rubber ducks flying around? Then you have to redecide what you're going to do, and then you have to redecide to act. So basically, that rubber
within
duck
that,
just
like,
hit
15
the reset
seconds
button on your whole thought process, which is going to take you at least another split second to redo. And in that split second, you're already getting clapped by the grunts. In reality, that's going to go something like, was that a fucking rubber bang? Now this is the point where somebody's going to hop in my comment section and say, why would you tell our enemies about this strategy? Because it doesn't fucking matter. You can know all about an OODA loop, you're still susceptible to it. It's like bullets. We all know how bullets work. It doesn't mean we're fucking bulletproof. Because it doesn't fucking stop at a rubber duck. For example, I knew another infantryman...
Okay, does someone throw a fucking dildo? like, imagine that. Like, you freaking throw it in the door, dude gets smacked in the face with this rubber freaking dude thing, and he's just like, what the fuck, is that a dick? And then he's dead.
That was in the 2nd Infantry Division, they roll around in strikers. Instead of throwing something funny through the door, they figured, well, they're expecting something to come through the door, so we'll just make a new fucking door. They'd back a striker up and drop the fucking hatch door right through the living room wall and invade the room that way. So in conclusion, grunts aren't always as stupid as they lead on. You might interpret them doing some dumb, reckless shit, but it might actually be extremely well thought out. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoy my...
If it looks stupid, but it works, it ain't stupid. I believe I saw that from a Hank Hill model. Well, the first time I heard that, I think I heard it from a Hank Hill model on, like, a VR chat video or some shit. Like, 5 years ago or something, I don't know. It was just like, and he was just like, if something's stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. And I still say that today. If it looks stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. Anyway, back to the regular video. And here we go.
Historically speaking, it has been a method of payment since pretty much forever. And it's been exactly what it sounds like. You buy something that you can't afford right now and you pay for it later. Whether you're buying a house or a car or your oven goes out.
Okay, well,
and
loans,
you don't have
yeah, I
enough money
guess.
to replace your oven. You go to the appliance store and the appliance store is like, no problem. We'll hook you up with a payment plan so you can get your oven. It's never been an issue.
Where's all the money? That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. See this? That's a car. Want to hang on to that one.
But in the past couple of years, apparently flying under my radar, a bunch of tech bros have gotten together and said, you know what, we should take this method of payment and turn it into an entire business model. And it is not only the dumbest business model I've ever seen, it's almost unironically evil. Like if you were to take a cabal of evil economists and put them in a think tank and
it's basically credit card debt on steroids, to my knowledge.
Possible to crash the economy, this is what they would come up with, and we're going to get into it right after word from our sponsor.
Delete me.
What does that say? That they use all services free, or they're going to collect your whoever, and they will look through.
Messed up my whole freaking reloading the video thing.
They think is absolute. I had no intention of making this video. I didn't even really know that these companies existed or how they functioned until recently. I went to order something off of DoorDash, a pizza for me and the family, and I was presented with payment options. Those were Apple Pay, a credit card, or Klarna. And for whatever reason, on this particular day, I said, what the fuck is Klarna? So I clicked on it. I was then presented the option of making an account with Klarna, and then I would be allowed to make 4 easy installments to pay off my pizza.
That is so stupid.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard.
To which I immediately said to myself in my head, that's stupid. I'm not about to finance a pizza and a private chauffeur
That's so stupid
to me. I hit back and paid with a credit card, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. I technically did just finance a pizza and a private chauffeur to bring it to me because I paid it with a credit card, right? I'm buying it now and I'm going to pay for it later when I pay my credit card statement.
But it's a little different.
So what the fuck is the difference between Klarna and a credit card? So I looked into it, and guess what the difference is between Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm, all these buy now, pay later.
More installments, more interest. That's my guess.
Tech companies and a credit card. Basically nothing. Credit cards are regulated. These companies are barely regulated, and they're nowhere near as regulated as a credit card.
Same, but different. But still same.
Now, obviously, these tech companies insist that they are different from credit cards. That's why they're not getting regulated as credit cards. So let's just go ahead and go over both and see if we can see any difference whatsoever. Credit card companies primarily make money in 2 different ways. One, if you don't pay off your balance at the end of the month, they charge you like 26% interest, and they make money off of the interest. Okay, pretty straightforward. Everybody understands that. Way number 2 credit cards make money that less people understand is they act as a payment processor. So what that means is every time you swipe,
you get a little extra charge that goes to them.
The retailer between 1% and 3% of the total purchase amount every single time
for the ease of access.
So if you go to Walmart and buy $100 worth of groceries, Walmart is going to end up paying $3 for that 3% of the processing fee, and then if you don't pay off your bill, they're going to make interest on top of that. Those are the 2 ways that credit card companies make money. Now, Klarna and all the other buy now, pay later companies are totally different because they make all of their money off of processing fees, but instead of charging 1 to 3%, they charge 3 to 6%, aka double what a credit card charges. And then they give you a 0 interest loan for 30 days, and if you don't pay it off, then they start charging you interest. It's the same fucking thing as a credit card.
They're the same picture.
They even have a Visa card that you can put in your wallet and take with you to do this as much as you want. So why the fuck isn't it regulated like a credit card? Well, you see, a credit card is a revolving line of credit. That means you've got a $5,000 limit. You can spend $5,000, you pay it off, you can spend $5,000 all over again. When you use Klarna, Klarna isn't giving you access to a line of credit. They're giving you an individual loan. So if you get on DoorDash and use Klarna to pay for a fucking burrito, Klarna is giving you an individual loan for said burrito.
That is so stupid.
Lord, pay it off today.
Pay it off.
And you can
I know, right? It's so dumb.
By paying that
if you can't afford a fucking burrito, don't get the fucking burrito. Like, fuck's sake. I understand, like, there's impulse and shit and cravings, but, like, gosh dang. Like, if I want a freaking, like, McDonald's hamburger, but I don't freaking have money till 3 days from now, I'll wait 3 days from now till I can get that burger. I got shit at home I can eat. Like, oh my gosh. And yeah, I understand, like, some people probably can't afford a whole lot, but like, okay, have you ever heard of lentils? Lentils are this amazing little thing. Kind of looks like a pea that's in the shape of a disc, almost. And they are super cheap. You buy, like, a pound of them at Walmart for, like, $2. And let me tell you, if you try to eat that pound of lentils right then and there, you're not going to be able to get through that pound of lentils. Like, lentils are quite literally 50% fiber, 50% protein. That's it. Those things are chock full of stuff that will keep you full and is good for you. And it's so fucking cheap. Like, I make lentil soup every now and again. I can eat one bowl of that soup, and then I'm full for like 5 hours. Like, if you are struggling for money, get lentils. You might need to get some, like, vegetable broth or something, a bouillon cube, something to kind of flavor it, but, like, otherwise, perfectly good. Anyway, continuing.
Off in full in 30 days, exactly like a credit card, or unlike a credit card, you could sign up for their payment plan where you make 4 payments over the course of 6 weeks and you'll still avoid interest. But if you go with that payment plan, each loan is going to come out of your account on its own schedule. So if you buy 30 things off of Klarna, you've got 30 loans out there auto withdrawing from your account on whatever random dates those payment dates are. So basically, Klarna is running 30 transactions.
Trying to finance with that type of shit would be hell. Like, what the fuck? Like, bruh.
To get all their money out on 30 different days, making it very, very hard for the average person to keep track of how much money they owe and how much debt they're actually in.
And then they'll probably get in more debt.
Shakedown, simple as that.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, their entire argument is, yeah, we're basically a credit card, but we're a really, really shitty, inconvenient credit card, therefore we shouldn't have to play by any rules. But don't worry, it gets worse. You see, when you apply for a credit card, they actually, like, run your credit, and if you buy a bunch of stuff on a credit card and then you pay it off, it increases your credit score. That's a lot of the reasons that people go and get credit cards at a young age, to build credit so they can hopefully buy a house in the future. These buy now, pay later companies, on the other hand, they don't run your credit. So you can buy a bunch of shit with these companies, but it's never going to improve your credit score. But inversely, if you go ahead and don't pay your bill, they'll report it to collections, and then that will tank your credit score. So they can only hurt your credit, they can't help it.
That is so fucked.
If you don't like the service, then just don't use it. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Here's how that affects all of us. Remember earlier when I said that they doubled the processing fees of a normal credit card? Great, wonderful. If retail companies are going to have to pay an extra 3%, they're going to pass that along to the customer, and they can't discriminate and only pass it along to Klarna users, because you can't make individual people pay the processing fees. So they're just going to raise their prices across the board.
All right, so that $2 bag of 1 pound of lentils is now going to be $3. Shit.
So even if you're Dave Ramsey paying for everything in fucking cash, you're going to be paying more money because somebody wants to finance a fucking burrito. Which raises a question, why would any retailer want to use Klarna or Afterpay or Affirm or any of these other buy now, pay later companies if they're charging more money for the processing fee? Great question. This is where it gets evil. You've probably seen these in a checkout where it's like you could pay the $100 for your purchase right now, or you can make 4 payments of $25 and still get what you wanted right now. Okay, now to some of us that seems stupid, because $100 is $100. Whether you take it from me right now or next Tuesday, I'm still paying $100. What's the big deal? But there's a ton of scientific research that has gone into this, and when you spend a bunch of money, it activates the same part of your brain that is your pain response. It is borderline physically painful to spend a lot of money. So there's a huge chunk of the population that, as long as they see that lower amount in what they have to pay right now, they're 20% more likely to make the purchase, and they're 30% more likely.
Whenever I go shopping, or plan to, I usually make a list. And I try my best not to deviate from that list, unless I know for certain that I can afford it. So I'll be like, all right, I need this item, this item, this item, this item, this item. This is how much that's roughly going to cost. All right, make sure I have that amount. If I have any extra afterwards, I will get something else. And I'll say this right now, I'm not perfect at it. I have sometimes, like, overpaid or miscalculated, something like that. But the list likely helps a lot. Anyway.
To spend even more money.
Bruh.
Yes, science!
So essentially, all these buy now, pay later companies are approaching retailers and saying, hey, we're going to charge you 6%, but you're going to sell 20% more often. And when you do sell, those purchases are going to be 30% larger. Basically, retailers take the deal because it makes them more money. And the reason it makes them more money is because Klarna and all the other buy now, pay later companies have figured out how to make credit cards 2.0, except this time it's more dangerous, it's less regulated, and people that are financially illiterate are more likely to fuck up their entire financial future over a fucking burrito. The inception of this company had to have been like an episode of Mad Men with a bunch of John Hamm looking motherfuckers drinking scotch and smoking cigars inside of a high-rise building, and they're like, haha, we're gonna figure out how to exploit poor and financially illiterate people even harder than they already are, and it's gonna be a great business model. Yeah, except it's not.
Okay, that's for East Frame right here. But another thing I used to do, but I don't do often nowadays, is I would take out the calculator app on my phone, and I would subtract a rough estimate of how much a thing cost. So say like I had a budget of like $200. I would put 200 into the calculator, and then everything I bought, be like, okay, this rice right here, that's $3. So then I put 4 down as minus because taxes. And also, this is the good part after it. Once you're done buying all the stuff you know you need, you roughly know how much you have left. And if you finally reach that deadline, then you know, oh, hey, I might have like an extra $1 or $2. I may grab one more item. Or you can just head to the checkout and be happy that, oh, hey, I thought it was going to be like $190, but it was $180. So, yeah. And also think cost effective for like how much taxes it's gonna be, because like if it's a $1 item, like if you don't want to deal with decimal points, then just do $1 above. But if it's like a $20 item, do $2. Anyway, so yeah, this is not necessarily financial advice. This is just stuff that I have done and has theoretically worked for me in the past. So yeah, I'm not telling you have to do this. I'm not saying it's going to fix any problem you have. However, it might help. Possibly. Anyway.
Because that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my
I know, right?
life.
It is.
Okay, let me rephrase this entire thing so we're all on the same page. Credit cards have a screening process. You apply for a credit card, meaning they've done some research into you and they've determined you're probably pretty likely to pay this back. Klarna and buy now, pay later doesn't give a shit screening process at all. So they're giving lines of credit, essentially, individual loans on burritos and fucking pizzas to people that probably can't afford to pay it back. You want to know how I know they can't afford to pay it back? Because they're taking out a payment plan on a fucking burrito. And you're never going to believe this. It's not working out for them. Q1 of 2025, they posted a $99 million loss, and they have no idea why, because guess what? The people that were financing DoorDash and a bunch of other dumb shit aren't paying off their bills in time. Shocking.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
I would pay so much money to see the CEO of Klarna have a sit down with Warren Buffett and try to convince Warren Buffett to have Berkshire Hathaway invest in Klarna, as he explains to him in detail that their business model is to sell payment plans and loans for Chipotle burritos. It would be fantastic. These companies literally broke level 1 of capitalism. Capitalism can be described as you identify a fucking problem, then you solve the problem and sell the solution. Klarna, on the other hand, came along and was like, oh.
And then there's also the other version which also I learned from King of the Hill, where it's like you find something that no one wants to do but needs to be done, and you do it.
Okay, I think I've identified the problem. Poor people don't have any money. What if we made it easier for poor people to have even less money?
Perfect. Everything.
That's not fixing the problem, it's making it worse. Imagine if a plastic surgeon in Miami figured out a way to help women with flat asses have even flatter asses. He would go out of business. Klarna, on the other hand, is trying to IPO for $15 billion, okay? IPO means initial public offering. Basically, they're gonna open this up to the stock market and let people invest in the company. And the shitty part, because it's a tech
they're just gonna lose their fucking money, man.
The tech company is gonna be the next Apple or the next Tesla. They're probably gonna get a metric shit ton of money and a ton of
they're gonna get a bunch of fucking money from a bunch of idiots. They're going to freaking lose that money, and then the idiots are gonna have no money.
investors are going to come.
Bye-bye.
And then they're going to have to use the app. Oh my gosh, it's genius. Anyway, this is so fucking stupid. Whatever. That Wolf of Wall Street.
How'd you fucking do that?
I don't know.
Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, they're about to get a bunch of people to invest in what amounts to subprime burrito loans, and it has the potential to crash the entire economy, right? This is what happened in 2008 with the housing market. What happened in 2008? A bunch of banks were giving out subprime mortgages. Subprime, meaning they're giving a mortgage to somebody they know probably can't afford it, and guess what happens when people can't afford shit? They don't afford it, and then they end up not making the payments, they foreclose on the house, that happens too much, and it ruins the entire fucking housing market and the entire economy as a whole.
You're completely sure of the math.
Look at him. You notice anything different about him? Look at his face.
That's pretty racist.
His name's Yang. Yeah, I'm sure of the math.
Bruh.
My name's Jiang.
But at least when the housing market crashed and the bank foreclosed on a bunch of houses, they still had the houses that they could turn around and sell to somebody else. Granted, they weren't going to get all their money out of it because the price of houses fell to the floor, but at least they had something left over.
They could cushion it.
How the fuck are you going to foreclose on a DoorDash order that somebody ate 9 months ago, okay? You going to go repo a fucking turd? I can't believe I live in a timeline where I'm legitimately concerned that one day I'm going to wake up and see the news headlines reading, subprime DoorDash order bubble bursts, crashing economy. Could the government step in right now and regulate them as credit cards like they should be regulated and fix the entire problem? Absolutely, they sure as fuck could. Unfortunately, my entire government and every politician is 7,000 years old and too technologically illiterate to understand what the problem even is.
Does TikTok access the home Wi-Fi network?
What?
How do you sustain a business model in which users don't pay for your service?
Senator, we run ads.
And by the time they do realize it's a problem, it's probably going to be too big to fail, so they're just going to print a bunch of money, give it to fucking Clark.
Again, I've said this before, I don't touch politics or anything like that. We're just going to move on.
Okay. Off their subprime burrito loans, and then all the taxpayers get to pay for it. Fucking terrific. I can't wait. Okay, that's it. There's no silver linings. This is the dumbest business model I've ever seen in my entire life. If you want to take away from the video, it's this. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business, find a problem, identify it, then solve the problem to make people's lives better. If at any point your idea to make money is to identify a problem and then make it worse to take advantage of poor and financially illiterate people, you're a piece of shit. And for the love of God, if you have to take out a payment plan to have a private chauffeur hand deliver you a burrito, please don't do it. If you need to take out a payment plan for the burrito, you can't afford the burrito.
That Interstellar?
There's literally bankers on the internet posting stories about how young couples lost the opportunity at their first house because they made a purchase with one of these buy now, pay laters a year ago, forgot about it, they reported the debt to collections, and it tanked their credit, and they weren't able to buy their first house over some fast food. Please don't ruin your financial future to have a burrito hand delivered to you. Buh!
I don't even like... Here's the thing. I don't even like using my debit card on shit. Like... I almost, when I can, I try to always pay with cash. Because, trying to keep track of, alright, how much do I have in the bank right there? Yes, there are some ways to mitigate it, and, yes, you can't keep track of it, but, I just feel better knowing that, hey, whatever's in my wallet, that's what I can use, that's what I'm going to use. End of story.
DoorDash is a necessity for some people. You're just a rich YouTuber that doesn't understand the struggles of the average person. Buh. Okay, pause. I know what you're thinking. TheFatElectrician is taking the keyboard warrior thing too far. He's making straw men. Surely nobody is actually arguing that DoorDash is a necessity. You're incorrect. I like to probe topics before I make these videos to see what the keyboard warriors will say, and this is a real opinion that popped up on the thread.
Okay, hold on. All right. YouTube millionaire can't understand the struggles of the 99%. Don't buy luxury service with a debit if you can't afford it. It's a pretty sound advice. DoorDash is a necessary service for some people with disabilities, not a luxury. A, no, it isn't for people who have had disabilities forever, and DoorDash is fairly new. B, you cite the struggles of the 99%, then immediately just use a 1% minority as your justification. Very sound, thank you.
And my response to this is as follows. A, I was delivering DoorDash, not ordering DoorDash. I was a delivery driver for DoorDash like 2.5 years ago so I could afford to pay my bills. So you can fuck right off with that shit. B, DoorDash is a luxury purchase, okay? I don't give a fuck what the circumstance is. Ordering restaurant quality food and then summoning a stranger to hand deliver it to you is a luxury purchase. To call that a necessity regardless of circumstance is like saying that a Rolex is a necessity because people need to be able to tell what time it is. No, the fuck it isn't. Go buy a G-Shock for $9 and it's fine.
A sundial.
So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
That you can make in like with a stick in the dirt. I'm like, dude.
Companies are the worst, shittiest, dumbest business model that I've ever seen in my entire life. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at TheFatElectrician.com. Quackbang out.
Nice.
I'm gonna get a cease and desist. I can feel it already.
Well, don't worry, dude. We got the video here. So, good, nice video, man. All right. Well, this has annoyed me a bit. What the fuck, guys? Like, come on. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the gaming channel, and I'll see you imps in the next video. Bye. Alright, you imps, fall in line. Only you can build up the numbers in the imp army, so that Oni-Chan, your leader, can prevail. I look forward to meeting you on the battlefield of the YouTube algorithm. Have a lovely day.